Hello, welcome to the OSU Sports Extra podcast. I'm Patrick Prince, joined as always by Kelly Hines on site in Stillwater. It's 2 days before Thanksgiving. Kelly, big Thanksgiving plans, or are you just going to work?
First of all, I'm at a lovely park. I think that they should be our sponsor. I don't know the name of this park, but I think that this will be my new. I literally didn't have anywhere else to go, so that's why I'm here. Yeah, Thanksgiving, I plan to eat some food. So yeah, what about you?
We're having a nice Thanksgiving this year. I feel like, whereas growing up, my family would go to Arkansas. They're all coming here.
Oh, are you hosting?
Yeah. No,
your brother's hosting.
Of course he is.
He is the best cook in the family.
He is, but I will say that Leanne sort of is more of the Thanksgiving person.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, he's more like the grill master.
Yes. So this is very much Leanne's forte right here. So she'll be taking control of this one. Okay. And it's all going to be glorious. I'll just say that. If
I didn't have plans already, I would invite myself to that, because having been to their house and to the meals that they have made, highly recommend.
Yeah. Well, if something happens and your plans fall through,
okay. Can I ditch my family in favor of yours?
Oh, you'll have more fun with us for sure. Like that's
not very nice, but
no, it's really
I have no comment. No comment.
I love your mom. I'm just kidding. She's very sweet.
If she happens to hear this, she will appreciate that comment from me. Okay, we've gotten absolutely nothing accomplished, and we're keep this to 30 minutes. I think we're already at 5.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about Bedlam fallout. I'm still not exactly sure what I saw. I don't understand why OSU struggles so much in Bedlam.
Okay, to be fair, they've struggled in most of their games this year. So it's not specific to Bedlam. Other years you could definitely point to that. This was just a continuation of just dreadful offense, just a struggle fest, and defense really not showing up for the first quarter and then playing like shutout from there. So honestly, when the 5 minutes into the game, I thought it was going to be another Kansas State type outcome, and I was like, oh man, you can't not show up for Bedlam. Like, that's not an option. Like, that's really bad. But yeah, the game didn't start well, and the offense did some good things, but it was just not Spencer's day. I mean, I don't know how else to put it other than that was just not a typical outing for him. And I kind of hate that for him late in his career, because I think he's already underappreciated. We've talked about that a lot. And then he goes out and has a game like that, and that just kind of adds to that. Like, I've seen fans saying that they can't wait until he's gone, and I'm like, he's one of the most, one of the winningest quarterbacks in program history. You can't wait for him to be good. I mean, that's tough. But I don't know if that's like how a lot of fans are, but for even one fan to be like that, I think that's unfortunate, because he's won so many games in his career. That's
a pretty dumb take by whoever.
Yeah.
But is it okay? But let's talk about the offensive struggle. Is it as simple as offensive line struggles and running game struggles? So there you have it, or is there more at play here?
I think maybe just not knowing how to fix issues once they've arisen during a season. And like Mike Gundy said yesterday, oh, don't worry, like, we have some ways to address this when the season's over. But it's like, your season's almost over, and like you've things have just gotten worse as it's gone on. Like, I think it is difficult to try to fix things like midstream, but like, isn't that what you get paid like $7 million to try to do? It's like that I just, if I were a fan, that wouldn't be the message that I'm wanting to hear right now. I'd be like, we're working on it and it's going to be better this week. Not next year, like that just made me think that it's more complex than maybe what we think. Definitely, I feel like the offensive line did not come together in the way that they expected. And then a lot of that, I think, was tied to, going back to the spring when that was an area they had no depth. And then they were like, oh, but things will be better, in August when everybody's here. We're going to have all these offensive linemen, but you're not really you're not able to predict all of the injuries that you're going to have. Is kind of been a worst case scenario with injuries, and maybe just not getting enough, like it's hard to be consistent when you just have a lot of different guys out there on the field week to week, and you don't exactly know what your personnel is going to be like. But I mean, even despite all of those things, I'm still shocked at how poorly it has gone. I did not see that coming. I thought the run game would look different because you have, your starting running back, Dominic Richardson, is a different style of runner than Jalen Warren and guys you've had in the past. I didn't think it would be such a struggle like it's been. And I'm not putting that on Dominic, because he's been banged up, and that it's never one person's fault, obviously, when things go wrong. But it has not come together really at all. It's like shocking to look at the numbers and see how much it's dropped off, like year by year, really, over the last few years. So maybe this isn't so much a this year problem. This is just a problem within the program, and it just has gotten a lot more dire, and you're losing games because of it, because last year your defense helped you overcome that, and the defense hasn't been in a position to necessarily do that because they've had more injuries than anyone else.
Gundy's pretty quiet on injury talk. Is Richardson?
Would you say he's quiet?
I don't know if you picked up on that this year, Kelly, at all.
Forever.
Is Richardson hurt and he didn't play in Bedlam?
Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, did it surprise you that he didn't play in Bedlam, or were you not expecting him to play?
I mean, he's been pretty banged up, and if he couldn't go in a game like that, it had to have been pretty significant, because he's a pretty big time competitor, just like Spencer Sanders. If he were able to go, he would be like, oh, give me that ball. But I think because of the physical way that he plays, I think that you're just going to be more prone to getting banged up, and that's why they wanted to have 3 running backs that they felt like really good about, 3 to 4 going into the season, because those guys are going to get more banged up than anyone, except for maybe your quarterback. And Ollie Gordon has been banged up too, and Jaden Nixon, I think, has and Ollie Gordon, both those guys have a ton of potential, but Ollie's just had more, he's missed more time because of injuries. But when you don't have three guys who are remotely healthy, it just compounds, it's like everything's just stacking up against you, and you have injuries up front, and maybe you weren't that good up there to start with, and then your running backs are getting banged up, your most experienced running back missing key games. I just feel like it's just added up to be a problem. And then obviously when you factor in Spencer Sanders is going to be a huge part of your run game, and he's been injured, and then if the run game isn't working, then you're forced to throw on every play, and when that doesn't work out well, then what do you turn to? I just feel like it's kind of just made it a lot tougher to try to remedy at this point in the season.
So what are you expecting to see Saturday?
I just know that Spencer Sanders is probably as upset as anyone could possibly be with his performance. Like, he's probably like 100 times more upset. Obviously at least one of those interceptions was like not his fault. Like the miscommunication with Jaden Bray. Like, I think that was on Jaden Bray. And I'm not like blaming him. It's just those things happen. But the outcome is unfortunate when it goes down as an interception for a guy who has done so much in his career, and I think is super valuable. So you look back at how he responded to that, the loss to Baylor in the Big 12 title game. And I know there was more time between games. It wasn't a week later that the festival happened, but he responds well. He rises to the occasion when he's had bad moments. He really has done well in the next game, like throughout his career. So I expected it would be a big game for him. And I think with it being at home, that helps a lot. OSU has not played well on the road, obviously. And so being able to be back at home, have your senior day, and quite a few guys who have meant a lot to your program in the last few years are going to be honored for that. I think that's added motivation. I think that this will be a better outcome. I think this is a game that, West Virginia struggled a lot with consistency. OSU certainly has been inconsistent also, but I feel like this is a favorable matchup for Spencer Sanders and for OSU in general.
So you're in Stillwater today for a media availability for for the basketball team.
My children right now.
That's right. What's going on with Mike Boynton's crew?
So they are still trying to figure out how to win games. It's still early in the season. I think that they have the tools like that they can dominate games early on. They just they have some deficiencies that make it hard to hold on to those leads. So you've seen that quite a few times. That's what they're trying to figure that out. Like Mike Boynton said, they don't have that like killer instinct yet. It's something that they have to develop. And they are probably never going to be a great 3-point shooting team. Like they're maybe never going to be a good free throw shooting team. Like there are certain things that they're not going to be good at. You have to overcome those things. I think they're going to be good on defense. I think between Caleb Boone and Musa Cisse, they have a lot of good things right there, especially on defense. But even on offense, I think that those guys are, when they play well together, they're going to be, OSU will be a tough team to beat. But they just have some things that they have to figure out, like probably most teams do in mid to late November. So I think it's possible for them. It's just they're going to be probably some more painful games, and they still have to work through that. But I'm super excited about Friday's game. The team I covered for the previous 8 years playing the team that I cover now, although Tulsa obviously has a different head coach and some different personnel. Both of those, I just think that that's an interesting matchup just because of the players that they have and where the programs are, and it's $1 to go to that game, so I'll be there. I mean, I'm not paying $1. I mean, I would pay $1, but I don't have to. They let me in without having to pay $1. I appreciate that.
It's very considerate of them.
Very considerate.
Yeah, very considerate. All right, so you've got football availability here in about 30 minutes or so. So we'll
7 minutes.
All right, so we'll cut it short, let you get to where you need to be. We appreciate everybody listening in. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Kelly and I come at you about once a week. We try to do Wednesday, but we're a little all over the place. So
I never know what day it is. So I'm pretty sure today's Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll just say we come at you once a week and we'll leave it at that. You can download us for free on Google, Apple, and Spotify, and we appreciate it. It's free to download.
So crazy.
Although, yeah, we're nice that way. It's free. All right, Kelly, happy holidays, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, sounds good. I'll see you.